Hello everyone, today I am with a new amazing woman. She's Marci Shimoff. You can maybe know her books, Happy for No Reasons. And if you don't know this book, you have to buy this book now. Don't wait for the end of the interview. Go to Amazon and find this book. I will ask her how to be a great woman, how to be happy with no reason, and I have a huge example today. You will learn about that. So, hello Marci.
So good to have you here, David. Thank you.
I'm so glad. I'm very happy to be here and to do an interview with you.
Yes, you are such a great, shining example of being happy for no reason. I see it in your eyes.
Okay, and I have a true example today. It is the first time I meet you, and it is the first time of my life that I have, I don't know how to say that in English, with my car, how do you say?
You ran out of gas in your car.
Yes, and
Just 5 minutes from my house.
yes, 5 minutes, and I was thinking, oh shit, and I felt some bad feeling, and I was thinking about your book, oh, Happy for No Reason, and I was thinking, oh, it is a perfect example for today.
It is, you know. Let me tell you what I mean by happy for no reason, because a
Yeah.
lot of people get it a little bit wrong. What I mean by happy for no reason is having an inner state of peace and well-being regardless of the circumstances.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that you're walking around 24/7 with a silly grin on your face. It doesn't mean that you're in some Pollyanna state of denial. You still have emotions. Your car runs out of gas, you feel frustrated or maybe a little anxiety. Someone dies, you feel grief. You still might have frustration and anger, but behind that you've got this inner backdrop of peace and well-being, that all is okay. And so you're able to make it through all those kinds of circumstances with greater resilience, and you get through it better, and you did a great job of showing that.
Thank you very much. So, can you share some keys to get back in the happiness when some circumstances arrived like that?
Sure. Well, let's start at the beginning on the whole happiness journey, if that's okay.
Yes.
Is that all right?
I would love.
Yeah, because people are always asking me if I was always happy, and the answer is absolutely not. I came out of the womb unhappy. I was an unhappy kid, and I did what most people do. I set certain goals for myself, and I thought that once I get those goals, I'll be happy. I call this the myth of I'll be happier when.
Wow.
I'll be happier when I have a better job, or more money, or when I
that.
get married, or when I get divorced, or when I lose 20 pounds. It's always out there. And I had that too. And so when I was, I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to guess
25.
You're 25. Okay, so when I was 25, I had 5 goals for myself. And I thought, if I get these 5 goals, that is all I need to be happy. And they were to have a great career helping people, to have wonderful friends, a great life partner or husband, a fabulous home, and
Wow.
the equivalent of Halle Berry's body. And I got 4 out of the 5. I don't have Halle Berry's body, but I got the other 4. And I have a healthy body at least. And I will tell you, it still didn't do it. Here was my turning point. And I think that a lot of people can relate to this. And I don't know, I'm sure you've achieved a lot of things. And so maybe you'll be able to relate to
I'm
this.
sure I know this feeling.
Yeah, so it was 1998.
Okay.
And I had 3 books at the same time on the New York Times bestseller list in the top 5. I was the co-author of all the women's books in the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. So 3 of my books were in the top 5 on the New York Times list. I had just given a talk to 8,000 people.
Wow.
I had autographed 5,432 books. The client had to have a massage therapist on hand to massage my hand every half hour so I didn't get carpal tunnel syndrome. I felt like an author rock star. It was like the height of everything. And all the other things in my life were working to the goals I'd set. I had great friends, a wonderful home, a great life partner, a healthy. At the end of signing that last book, autographing that last book, I went up to my hotel room, which was the penthouse suite that my client had gotten for me, and I plopped onto the bed and I burst into tears. And I burst into tears because I realized that I had everything I thought I ever needed to be happy, and I still wasn't. And that was the end of the line for me. I could no longer continue to think that just that next thing was going to do it for me. And I think that that's happening everywhere these days. People are realizing, well, I'm achieving some of my goals or most of my goals, and still there's an emptiness inside. You know, we have more as a society than anybody's ever had in history. And we're no happier than we were 50 years ago. In fact, I think less happy. 1 out of 4 women is on antidepressants. We have an epidemic of unhappiness. And so that's the bad news. But the good news, David, is that science has cracked the happiness code. We know what it takes to be happier. It's not hard. And so I know you want to get practical, and I'll share some of the things.
Yeah, I would love to know other things about that, and I would would like to say you that I can relate to that, because 6 months ago I was in the USA achieving all my dreams.
Yeah.
And meeting amazing people, and I felt the top of my bad feeling, and I was thinking, oh shit, I'm achieving everything I want and I can't be happy now, and it was a turning point for me. So I'm very glad to talk about that.
You know, here's what I learned from science. I mean, the science is, as I said, cracking the happiness code, and the most sort of inspiring piece of research to me is that we all have a happiness set point. It's like a thermostat setting. And no matter what happens to us, whether it's good or bad, we will hover around that thermostat setting, around that set point, unless we do something to change it. So even when great things happen, you know, people win the lottery, for example, they're happier for a few months, but within a year, they've returned to their original happiness level. And the same is true of people who have tragedies. Within about a year, they've returned to their happiness level. So it's all in the set point. And the set point is half genetic. You're born with that. It's 10% and only 10% your life circumstances. And we're all so busy running around trying to change our circumstances to be happier. It's only 10% of the whole pie, you know, the whole puzzle there. The other 40% is our habits of thoughts and behavior. And that's what we can do something about to raise our happiness set point. And there are some progressive scientists like Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief.
Love him.
Love him too. And they say that that 50% that's genetic, that will change when you change your habits, which means that 90% of your happiness can be changed by changing some simple habits.
Wow, let's talk about that.
Okay.
What is the habits
The
we
habits.
have to change?
Okay, so they fall into 7 main areas.
Okay.
And I'll just go quickly through the 7 areas, and you can see where you might be stronger or weaker.
Okay.
And I tell people to start where they're the weakest. And people have a hard time remembering 7 of anything, so I made a little analogy, and I call it building your inner home for happiness.
Okay.
So a home has 7 components. It's got a foundation, 4 corner pillars, a roof, and a garden.
Yes.
So the foundation is taking responsibility for your happiness, not waiting for something else to change for you to be happier, but going, okay, I get it, there's a set point, and I can do something about it.
So it is my responsibility to be happy.
Totally.
Okay.
And your responsibility to recognize that it's not going to come from your circumstances, that it's going to come from you changing some habits. So that's step number 1.
Foundation.
Foundation. 4 corner pillars. Pillar of the mind, pillar of the body, pillar
Yes.
of the heart, and pillar of the soul.
Wow.
So what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you doing to support your body? And how plugged into your spirit are you? So those 4 corner pillars. Then there's the roof, and the roof is your purpose or passion in life. Are you really living an inspired life? Are you living your calling? And then the garden is, who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you have a lot of toxic people in your life? I call them the weeds.
Yes.
Or do you have a lot of, you know, roses and lilies and beautiful flowers, the supportive people who are really out to help you live your dreams?
So you are saying that your environment is very important to build this kind of happiness, right?
Well, the people you surround yourself with.
Okay.
You know, every parent knows they care who their children spend time with because they know their children are influenced by their friends. It's the same with adults. They say that there's a phenomenon called emotional contagion. It says that we catch the emotions of the people around us just like we catch their colds. And so just ask yourself, and we become the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with.
Yes.
So ask yourself, who are your 5, and do you want to catch their emotions?
Great
Because
question.
that's a really important one. But But you look at all 7 of those areas, and what I tell people is rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay,
How
in
well
each area.
in each area, how well am I doing in this area? And where you're the lowest, we call that your Achilles heel, that's where you want to start. So for somebody, they don't really have the physiology, the body to support happiness. They don't have the happiness chemicals like serotonin and oxytocin and endorphins. And they need to focus on what can I do to build the physiology of happiness. For some people, they're stuck in anger and resentment and lack of forgiveness. They need to work on their heart, on letting love in. Some people just have too much thinking that is really not, that's quite negative. They need to focus on their mind. Some people are disconnected from their spirit. They don't spend time in silence or in meditation or in communing with nature or with the universe. Some people are really not living their passion. You know, and some
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people actually. So look at which of these areas are you the weakest in, and then start there. I have 21. I discovered there are 21 main happiness habits, and they fall into these 7 areas. And so you want to start where you're the weakest to get the fastest kind of growth. But how about if I give you 3 specific things that anybody who's watching today
I would
can
love.
do?
Yes,
Yeah?
let's do that.
Okay. Where do we want to start? Let's start with the heart.
Yes.
I love that. It's a good place to start. So there is research that shows that when you're angry for 5 minutes, it will suppress your immune system for 6 hours. When you're frustrated or angry or in what science calls the stress response, for just 5 minutes, it can suppress your immune system for 6 hours. But when you're feeling love, when you're feeling gratitude, when you're feeling joy and ease, it can strengthen your immune system for 6 hours, just 5 minutes of that. So I'm going to share with you right now a very quick, it will only take 2 minutes, very quick technique to move us from the stress response into what science calls the love response. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Is that
Wow.
good? You want to do it?
I will do it.
Okay. Here's what we're going to ask, though. We're going to ask that everybody who's watching this do it along with us. Because really, this is where the difference is made, is when you're doing this. You can watch us do it, and it won't be that much fun. But please
Take
do it along
action
with
now.
us. Take action and use your own life as an experiment to see if this works for you. Okay, ready?
Yes.
So first, you can do it with eyes opened or closed, but we're going to do it with our eyes closed because it'll go a little deeper.
Okay.
So please close your eyes if you can. The first step is to simply place the palm of your hand over your heart. Now that simple act of putting your hand on your heart starts the flow of a chemical called oxytocin. And oxytocin is dubbed the love hormone because it's what we have more of when we feel bonded and connected with each other. So mothers who are breastfeeding have lots of oxytocin, or when we make love, we have lots of oxytocin. But just putting our hand on our heart right now is helping the flow of oxytocin. Now the second step is to imagine that you're breathing in and out through the center of your heart. And you can just picture that, or you can feel that your breath is coming into your heart, your breath is going out of your heart. At your own pace, you're breathing into your heart, you're breathing out of your heart. You're inhaling into the heart, exhaling out of the heart. And already you might be feeling some kind of shifts in your body or in your emotions. Finally, the third step is on each in-breath. I want you to imagine that you're breathing in love, compassion, and ease. Love, compassion, and ease. Now, at your own pace, breathe into your heart, love, compassion, and ease. And on the exhale, you can just exhale normally. But each inhale, imagine breathing in love, breathing in compassion, breathing in ease. And you can think of a time when you felt those, or you can just say the words to yourself, and it will have the same effect. So one last time, breathing deeply into your heart, love, ease, and compassion. And on your exhale, you can slowly open your eyes. And you can take your hand away. And just sit for a few seconds and notice if you feel any different now than you did 2 minutes ago. And David, you're my guinea pig because I can talk to you and I can't talk to you. So I'm going to ask you, how different do you feel now than you did 2 minutes ago?
I am more in the now.
More present.
Yes.
Great, great, great. Anything else?
I feel a kind of a peace inside.
Peace. Good, good. So these are symptoms of the love response, being present, feeling peace. Some people feel more grounded or more balanced. Some people have physical sensations like warmth in their heart or tingling in their hands and feet. And all of these are signs of going into the love response. And here's the deal. Doing it once is just a nice experience, but nothing will really happen. What will make a difference is if you do this 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks, you will start to make a habit of being in the love response.
A kind of new connection.
Exactly. You're creating new connections, new neural pathways. And I've done this thousands of times. And now all I have to do is put my hand up to my heart and I feel this incredible wave of ease, peace, love, openness, just by making that a habit. And you can do this while you're standing in line at the grocery store, while you're sitting on the phone talking to somebody, while you're sitting in a business meeting and you're bored. Nobody has to know what you're doing.
Yes, when you are waiting to be helped in a car.
That's right, that's right. When you've run out of gas in your car and you're waiting to get some help.
Yes.
So simple, but don't underestimate the power of simple practices to really change your happiness set point.
Yeah, it was great. I'm very thankful because it's practical things to do.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Good.
Take action.
Good. Well, I promised
so
you.
apply it.
That's right. That's right. So I promised you 3. So
yes.
You want 2 more?
I want 2 more.
Okay, here we go. Well, first let's do a little experiment.
Yeah.
And it's about the power of our minds.
Okay.
Now, I know you know all of the research out there. You've interviewed so many people. And I know you know that our minds are crazy powerful.
Yes.
We have, on average, 60,000 thoughts a day. And for the average person, 80% of those are negative. We inherited that from our caveman ancestors, the ability or the tendency to focus on the negative over the positive. So if you get 10 compliments in a day but 1 criticism, what do you remember at the end of the day?
The criticism.
That's right. So happier people have learned to refocus their attention on the positives. And by doing that, they're creating new neural pathways in the brain that allows them more often than to notice what's positive. Because I've heard different numbers, but billions of bits of information come into us in every moment.
Yes.
And we only perceive that which we're looking for, and that which we're looking for is that which we're used to, which we've habituated perceiving. So if we have a habit of perceiving the negative, that's what we're going to see. It's as though we have these dark colored glasses on and the world looks that way. But when we start making a habit of perceiving the positive, we start seeing the positive that's already out there. We can also change our own reality by perceiving things differently. And this is where I want to do this experiment with you. It's a really cool one. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So this is for everybody at home too. Where do I look to show them? Because I want to show everybody at home this.
Okay, here.
Here. Very good. So we all have at the very bottom of our palm a crease.
Okay.
At the very top of your wrist, bottom of your palm, right there, you have a top crease. You see it?
Okay.
The top crease. I want you to match it up with your other palm. Like it's a science experiment. Make sure they're matched just right. Okay? And then move your hands together like that, very carefully. And notice that one hand is longer generally than another. Do you see, is one of your hands longer than another a little bit?
Yes.
Yes. Take the one that's shorter. And if you don't have one that's shorter, you can take either one. But if you have one that's shorter, I want you to take it and put it out in front of you. Okay? And you're going to talk to this hand.
Okay.
And you're going to talk very lovingly to this hand, but you're going to tell it to grow. And we're going to do this for about 20 seconds. I want you to say it out loud with me and just very lovingly, as you speak to it, I want you to see it growing, okay?
Okay.
So, grow,
Grow.
grow. Say out loud with me.
Grow. I
Grow.
will speak French.
Oh, you can say it in French.
Ok. Grandir, tu peux
Grow,
grandir.
grow, grow.
Grandir.
Oh, you beautiful hand, grow,
Quelle belle main tu as.
grow.
Tu peux grandir.
Oh,
Grandir.
grow. You're such a good
Grow.
hand.
Tu as une
Grow.
magnifique main.
And
Bravo.
see it growing.
Une magnifique
Grow,
Tu peux grandir.
grow,
Grandis. Allez grandir.
grow. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
We're going to do the same experiment again. Match those lines up perfectly. Bring the hands back together and see what happened. Did it grow?
Yes.
Yes. So that's how powerful your mind is. Our mind creates changes in our body, it creates changes in our world. By the way, I do this in large groups of people, and usually men look at me, ask me afterwards, does that work on all body parts? But so it's just a great demonstration to show how powerful our minds are. And what we put our attention on grows stronger in our life. So when you put your attention on what's good, what's working in your life, that's what you will get more of. There's research on happiness that shows that people who write down a list of the 5 things that they're grateful for every day at the end of the day, within 30 days, they will have raised their happiness set point. Super simple process. So what I suggest that people do, one of the women that I interviewed for Happy for No Reason says she plays a little game. It's called the Happiness Academy Awards.
Wow.
And every day she pretends that she's the Academy Awards committee. And she's on the lookout for anything she can give an Academy Award to. So one day she's out for a walk and she sees a cute, fluffy little white dog. And it's the cutest dog she's seen. And she says, oh, that dog wins my Academy Award of the day for the cutest dog. Or she sees a beautiful tree. Or somebody does a wonderful act of kindness for her. She's on the lookout for every day to, at least in her mind, give away 5 Academy Awards. So it's a game, if you've got children, it's a great game to play with your kids.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I love that. It was a second.
second one. Okay, now I know you want the third, don't you?
Yes.
People are always asking me, what's the fast track to happiness? If there was any one thing that was the thing that supercharged happiness, what would that be? And while I think there are a lot of different things, I think there is one in particular, and that is forgiveness. When we hold on to anger, when we hold on to resentment, we are not hurting the other person, we're hurting ourselves. We're closing our heart. It's very hard to feel happy, to feel good when we're contracted. And anger and lack of forgiveness is very, very contracting. I'm going to share with you in a minute a practice that I do that to me is the most powerful practice, one of the most powerful practices I've ever learned.
Just before, do you think we have to forgive to ourselves before?
Oh, I definitely think self-forgiveness is a key. And it doesn't even matter when you need to forgive another person. It doesn't even matter that you do it with them in person or that you even let them know. You're doing it for your sake. The person can be dead.
It can be your father.
Yes.
Yes.
An ancestor that's passed away. And the idea is that this anger, this lack of forgiveness tightens us up. And I love doing demonstrations, so can we do one more little demonstration before I give you my technique?
I would love.
Okay. It's a demonstration that shows the difference between contracted energy and expanded energy.
Okay.
There's only 2 energies in the universe: energy of contraction, energy of expansion. When we are in the energy of expansion, we are in the happiness zone. We're moving in the happiness flow.
Yes.
When we're contracted, we are not. So let me prove this to you. I'd like you all to do this with me. I'd like you to curl into a little ball and get really contracted. And on the count of 3, I'd like you to say, I feel happy. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I feel happy. Okay, sit up. Did you feel happy?
Not at all.
No, not at all. You might have felt a little stupid, but not happy. Hard to feel happy like this when you're contracted. The opposite is also true. When you're expanded like this, it's hard to feel bad.
Yes.
So go like that. On the count of 3, we're going to say, I feel depressed. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
I feel depressed.
Did you feel depressed?
A lot.
No. It's hard when you're feeling so expanded. You don't feel depressed. You feel
can't.
joyful. You know, when
Yes.
you're smiling, it's hard to feel depressed.
Yes.
So one of the fastest ways to move into this expansion zone is through forgiveness. And there are many forgiveness techniques out there, but the one that I like the most is one perhaps you've heard of. It's called Ho'oponopono.
I heard about that, but I don't know it.
Oh, good. Then we're going to teach it to you. And here's the good news. You never have to be able to say the word Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian word. It's a very hard one to pronounce. And doing the practice of it is much easier than saying Ho'oponopono. So here's what it is. All you do is you get an image in your mind of the person or the situation that you need to forgive. It can be yourself as well. And you send these 4 phrases to the situation, to the universe, basically. And the 4 phrases are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm going to repeat those. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. You don't need to say them to the other person at all. It's a matter of shifting in your heart. And you're saying these 4 phrases have a very high energetic vibration. And I have taught this to people for years. I've seen miracles happen. I've seen miracles happen in my own life. Do we have time for me to share with you a
Yes.
story about that? So,
I love stories.
Okay, stories. So about 4 years ago, my sister and I got in an argument, and we weren't talking to each other. And this had never happened in our family before, so it was very uncomfortable. But I was being very stubborn, and I was not seeing things from her point of view at all. And about 4 months into this situation, our whole family gathered at our mother's new home. She had just moved into assisted living, and we gathered to unpack her things. So I was really nervous because it was the first time I was seeing my sister since we'd been in the silent treatment. And when I came in, I hugged and kissed everybody hello except her. I ignored her. She ignored me. We went through the whole morning ignoring each other. It was so uncomfortable. Everybody could feel the tension in the air. And after a full morning of this, I was so stressed out, I decided to go to my car and take a break. And on the way to the car, I remembered Ho'oponopono. So I sat in my car, and I closed my eyes, and I just thought of my sister, and I sent her those phrases. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I also sent them to myself because I had been upset at myself as well. Well, after about maybe 7 minutes of doing this,
So you repeat
I
that.
just repeat it internally, not out loud, just
Okay.
inside, not out loud, just feeling them in my heart. After about 6-7 minutes of feeling that,
Do you visualize her?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I just felt her and visualized her. And after about 6 or 7 minutes of that, I felt this wave of love come over me. My heart broke wide open. And I suddenly saw everything from my sister's point of view. I saw that she wasn't angry at me for what had happened a few months earlier. It was a lifetime of stuff. And I understood totally, and I had compassion, and I felt so much love for her. And I went back into the apartment feeling completely different, but I decided not to say anything to anybody. I just go back in, I continue unpacking. 3 minutes after I'm back, my sister comes to me out of the blue. She takes me by the hand, and she says, come on, let's go unpack Mom's closet together. As though nothing had ever happened. We had a great time doing that. An hour later, we're at lunch. She hands me her baked potato and says, here, Marci, I know you like these more than I do. I was so surprised that I pulled my brother aside and I said, what did you tell her while I was gone? And he said,
Nothing.
nothing. We have no idea what's just happened. Well, David, that was the beginning of an entirely different relationship that I now have with my sister.
Wow.
And it happened at a critical time because 9 months later, she and I found ourselves standing in that very same closet of our mother's. This time we were packing up Mom's clothes because our mother had just died very unexpectedly. And I cannot imagine what that would have been like had she and I still been mad at each other. And I tell that story because I know that every single person listening, watching, every single person in the world has someone that they need to forgive, and including themselves.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, ourselves. So I say, don't take my word for it. Use your life as an experiment. Try it out. Do it, maybe every day for a week or two, and see what happens in your life. See what miracles happen.
Yeah, I love that. Huge and amazing exercise. Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's great. I will try it. I will do it the next time.
Yay, great.
I have a lot of questions to ask you, and I would like to ask you something. Today you have another mindset than before in the past. Do you think you could have the same success if at the beginning you were like you are today? Because sometimes the fact that you were thinking that you will be happy after,
Right.
is kind of
Did it motivate me?
Yes.
Did I need that belief that thing was going to make me happy to motivate me to want to do what I've done?
Yes.
Well, that's such a really good question. I really appreciate that question.
I wonder myself.
I think it's a myth. I think we all innately have a purpose for being here.
I think so.
And it's a purpose that will bring us joy and bring us expansion and happiness. And we've grown up with the belief that it's through self-criticism, through pain, through suffering, that we're going to motivate ourselves. And I don't think that's true. Because I can tell you, I created a lot of success in that old model of being motivated to succeed so I would be happy. So that works. You can still be successful.
Not happy, but successful.
Not happy, but successful. But I also have seen that happiness will bring you greater success. In fact, people who are happier they tend to be much more successful. They, on average, make $1 million more over the course of their lifetime.
Wow.
And I can tell you that in the last few years, I really feel happier than I've ever felt in my life. And it's really a deep inner state of happiness. And the success and ideas that are coming my way now are beyond what I came up with back then in the days of, I think you can have creativity both ways, but it's the happiness and success together that really matters. And you don't have to get there through pain and through suffering. That's an old model and an old belief system. And these days I'm actually talking about and teaching the idea of living in the miracle zone, where miracles are kind of commonplace. Just everyday miracles. And we can't create miracles in our life, but we can create the circumstances that put us in that miracle zone, in that zone of just everything's working, everything's clicking, you're in the flow, you're in the zone. And I'll just give you a quick example. I was in India a few weeks ago, and I was just visited a town called Varanasi, very holy town in India, and it was my first time there, 5 million people in the town. And I drop off my bags in the hotel, and my hotel is right on the holy river Ganges, and I just go for a walk along the Ganges River, or just right along the sidewalk next to it. And 3 minutes into the walk, I look up, and there walking right past me is a friend of mine from California. I said, "John, what are you doing here?" He said, "Oh, I'm staying in that hotel over there." And he says, "Oh, and I ran into some other friends that I've known for 35 years. We're going on a boat ride tonight on the Ganges. Come join us." Now, had I taken that walk 5 minutes later or 15 minutes earlier, I may not have run into him. But it was, it was kind of a miracle. And every day there are things like that happening to me where just the right person calls at the right time. The right idea comes just when it's needed. And I've seen this over and over again. I have 1,800 people right now going through this program called Your Year of Miracles. And people are having miracles like their houses have been on the market for 2 years. And all of a sudden they do certain things to put themselves in the miracle zone. And the house sells like that. They've been wanting to get pregnant. they get pregnant. They've been wanting, I mean, miracles. Money shows up. Just amazing things. And
So how can we activate
the miracle zone?
Yes.
Well, part of it is by raising your happiness set point. Everything in life is energy, and everything's based on the energetic vibration. Happiness, love are two of the highest energetic vibrations on the planet. So doing the things that I talk about in terms of raising your happiness set point will help put you in the miracle zone. But also being on the lookout for them and being open to receiving miracles, big and small. One of the things I tell people to do is to keep a little miracles journal. So you start noticing, what are the miracles that are happening in your life? Because the more you put your attention on those, the more they'll show up.
Yes.
And I mean, you know, I read 20,000 stories that have been submitted to Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I will tell you, over half of them were about miracles that happened. And I know that they are, that we can put ourselves in this zone to be open to these. Can I share with you, since you like stories, one more miracle story?
I love stories.
Okay, good.
Here's the time
So
for story.
this is a story about an amazing miracle.
Yeah.
It's about a man named Marcel Sternberger. And Marcel lived in New York City. It was 1948. And he was a very methodical man. He every day would take the exact same subway into work, his 9:09 in the morning subway. This one particular morning, though, he took a detour and he went to go visit a friend of his who was sick. So he ended up taking a later subway into work. And as he got on that subway, it was really crowded, and he saw only one empty seat. So he went over to that empty seat and he sat down, and as he was sitting down, he noticed that the man next to him was reading a Hungarian newspaper. And Marcel was from Hungary, so they started speaking in Hungarian. And he found out that this man's name was Bela Paskin, and Bela had just arrived in New York City a few months earlier. He had come from Hungary, and during the war, he had gone through many atrocities during World War II. He was in a Russian work camp, and when the war was over, he had to walk over 200 miles back to his hometown in Hungary, only to find that his entire family, including his beloved wife, had been killed. So he was devastated, and he decided to leave and come to America and start a new life. And as I said, he had just arrived a few months earlier. So upon hearing this, Marcel was amazed, because just a few days earlier, he'd been at a party at some friend's house, and he'd met a woman who had a very similar story to tell. And he was so intrigued that he wrote down her name and her phone number, and he put it in his pocket. So he turned to Bella and he said, "What was your wife's name?" And Bella said, "Oh, my wife, she's been dead for years." But her name was Maria. Marcel takes Bella by the hand and says, "We have to get off at the next train stop." They jump off at the next stop. They run to the closest payphone. He calls up the woman from the piece of paper and he says, "What was your husband's name?" She says, "Oh, my husband, he's been dead for a number of years." But his name was Bela Paskin.
Wow.
Marcel turns to Bella and says, "It's a miracle. It's your wife. Say hello."
Wow.
I mean, it happened on a Brooklyn subway, you know? So we can open ourselves up. Now, most of us don't need a miracle that extreme in our lives.
Yes.
But for us, it's the miracle of meeting the people that are going to make our lives full of joy. It's that are going to help enrich our lives. It's the miracle of landing into the right work for us. It's the miracle of just having wonderful things happen during the day. You know, you showing up, running out of gas, but there's always an answer, and somebody's there for you within 5 minutes to come get you. So, you know, everyday miracles too.
I love your story and what you are saying. And I would like to ask you something that people ask me, and to listen to your answers.
Sure.
There are a lot of people who watch the movie Secret and
Yes.
learn from the books, and a lot of masters
Yes.
with great keys. And sometimes they wrote to me, "Oh, I know everything about that. I tried, but I don't understand why
Not working.
It's not working for me."
Right.
So what do you want to say to people
Right.
that they think that it's not working?
I have two answers for that. One answer is, are they really doing all the steps? Because there was one step that I think many people overlook, which is the step of action. You know, um, I actually learned a formula that was similar to what was taught in The Secret, but for me, this formula works is a more appropriate representation of the law of attraction for me.
Okay.
It's 3 steps, and they rhyme, so I like it. I don't know if they rhyme in French, but they rhyme in English. And they are intention, attention, and no tension. So we have to be clear on what our intention is. We have to put our attention on it. That means our life energy into it. And that includes our thoughts, our words, our feelings, and our actions. So all 4 of those need to be really aligned with your intention. It's not going to work just sitting around in the living room, you know, thinking about this thing happening. I'm going to win the lottery. I'm going to win the lottery. And then the 3rd thing is no tension. Once you are clear about what you want and you have done everything there is that you know to do with your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and your actions, then you need to let go. Relax, surrender. Let the universe bring it to you. Let the universe bring you that or something better. Maybe your intention is not necessarily for your highest. So we think that we can completely control the universe. I want, you know, a purple elephant to show up in my living room. Well, maybe that's not the highest and best thing for you. Maybe, you know, so sometimes it doesn't happen because it's actually in our best interest. I believe it's a friendly universe.
Okay, so it's a goal, but it's not your goal.
It may not be the best goal for you. You know, there's a saying called high intention, low attachment. Let go. Allow the universe to bring you what is best. You put in your order thinking you know, and that's great. But don't be so attached to it that it has to be the way you think it has to be. I could never have dreamed that the things that have happened to me I couldn't have made them happen if I had tried to control it. I couldn't have made it as good as it has been. So a lot of it is just letting go, trusting, believing it's a friendly universe and that what's happening is always happening for your good, and patience. Sometimes, so that's the second part of my answer, timing is involved. And, you know, your timing might not be the universe's timing. And so that's why it's so important to be happy for no reason. Don't wait for the things you want to manifest to make you happy. When you're happy for no reason, you can be in that state of no tension because you're happy whether or not that thing you think you want happens.
I love that. Thank you for this answer. And in the same field, a lot of people ask me, okay, I understand that, but I don't know how to find my purpose. I did some exercise, some questions, but I don't find what I have to do in this planet. So do you have some advice to go deeper maybe?
I do. You know, what you're here to do changes. I think there are 2 purposes we all have. One is a universal purpose, and that purpose is to grow in our experience of ourselves as one with the universe, to grow in our own personal development, to grow in the ability to give and receive love. It's a spiritual reason. This is a lesson universe. We're here to grow in the unfoldment of our true essence, of knowing who we are. That's for everybody. Okay. And everybody can be doing that every day. And as long as you're doing some of that, you are living your part of your purpose.
So looking for how to grow to what you have to do.
How to grow in the ability to know the truth of who you are. How to grow in your ability to love. That's a universal purpose. It doesn't have to do with being, a carpenter or a baker or a doctor. It has to do with being a human. You know, people who've had near-death experiences often come back after that experience, and they say that at the end of our lives, we are asked a question. It's like a final exam. It's a 1-question final exam. And the question is, how much did you love? How much did you grow in your ability to give and receive love? And I don't think this is the kind of exam that you can, you can kind of wait till the end to start studying for. I think it's a day-to-day thing. So as long as you're living every day unfolding that question, how can I experience more of my own divinity? Then you are on purpose. So that's one half of the answer. The other half is we all do have, I believe, an individual purpose as well. I would really make a very bad singer. It would be a cosmic joke if I was put on the planet to be a singer, because I don't sing very well. And so,
Me
but,
too.
yeah, but so it changes throughout our life. So follow what it is that brings you joy. And don't worry that it's not your big life purpose, it's your purpose for now. So I'll give you an example of this. My father was a dentist, and he loved being a dentist. And he retired when he was 72.
Okay.
Now, what happens to people when they retire?
They do nothing.
They do nothing and they die.
Yes, because they don't have any
Purpose.
Yes.
Exactly. So my dad knew about that, and he said, that's not going to happen to me. So he analyzed what he loved about being a dentist. And he realized that it wasn't just putting in fillings, but it was working with his hands in intricate ways and being an artist. He felt like dental work was artwork to him. So at age 72, he took up needlepoint, the very, very fine, refined artwork with the needle and needle points.
Okay.
And he became a master. He won awards throughout all of California. I was 85. He was 85 when I went home one day. He was working on his newest needlepoint, and it was his biggest one ever. It was that wide and that high, and it was so intricate. And I said, "Oh my gosh, Dad, how long is this going to take you to finish?" And he said, "Well, I figured it out, and at the pace that I'm currently going, it's going to take me 4 years."
Oh, yeah.
This was an 85-year-old man starting a 4-year project. Did he finish it? Absolutely. And it hung proudly in my parents' living room until my mother passed away. He lived till he was 91, by the way. And it brought him so much joy every morning to work on that needlepoint. And since it's really our family treasure, and it's now since been moved into my living room, and you can see it up there. That's the needlepoint he started when he was 85, and he completed when he was 89.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
You have a
So,
precise, accurate answer. I love that.
well, it's really about what is it today, or in this short period of time. You don't have to know your life purpose.
Yes.
You just have to know what's ahead of you right now. You know, the way I think Jack Canfield, who's my mentor, the way he said it in The Secret is, if you're taking a trip from Los Angeles to New York, you only have to be able to see 100 yards in front of you in order to get there. You don't have to be able to see the whole journey.
Everything, yes.
You just see what's right in front of you, and you do that.
The next steps.
The next step, exactly.
I love the baby steps.
The baby steps. That's the way to everything, is baby steps.
Yes, I love that. I would love to know, can we talk also about the Secret also?
Sure.
Because I think this movie inspired a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's a good start.
That's right.
According to you, why so many people don't have results with The Secret?
Yeah. Well, I think that it is a wonderful place to start, and I'm very grateful to have been part of the project, and I think that it really awakened many, many people to the power that we have in our lives to create a change, and the responsibility that we have in our lives through our thinking, through our actions, through our happiness, you know, how that impacts the quality of our life. I think that what's a little dangerous is to only focus on the material aspects of, let me get the great
Ferrari.
car or the great house or the beautiful diamond ring. That's such a small piece of the pie. And I'm not saying things aren't great. I love material things. I love beauty. I love getting to have flowers around me and you know, being in a beautiful environment. But it's really not the whole purpose of the game. The whole purpose of this life game is the deeper spiritual awakening. And I believe in something that one of my very first spiritual teachers called 200% of life, which is 100% of the inner life. And then from that, 100% of the outer life. So the outer life is really just a reflection of the growing of your consciousness. And so I would say that the next frontier is the really frontier of the development of consciousness, that development of the state that some people call oneness, some people call love, unconditional love. I wrote a whole book about it called Love for No Reason. It's,
just here.
Yes, there it is, just there.
Love for no reason.
7 steps to creating a life of unconditional love. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about relationship love. I'm talking about the love that you feel, that inner love that you feel when you look at a sunrise and you just feel the awe of life. The inner love that you feel when you really feel in love with yourself and in love with life and in love with the divine. And I have to say,
it's different for you with gratefulness.
That's an aspect of
gratitude.
it. Gratitude is an aspect of that love. I think it's one of the ingredients of that love. I've interviewed thousands of people now who are happy for no reason and in love for no reason, and I found the one thing that they all shared the most was a very deep spiritual experience. It didn't have to be religious in any way, but a spiritual practice. You know, a practice of connecting with themselves, connecting themselves with the universe, whether you call it God or the divine or universal intelligence or nature, it doesn't matter. It's that bigger, greater energy in life. And when we connect up, when we feel hooked up to that greater energy of life, plugged into that, that's what life's about. That's what makes life work. That's what creates true unconditional happiness and allows us to live in the miracle zone.
Wow. I would like to ask you a serious question.
The others haven't been serious?
No.
Okay.
This question is very serious.
Very serious.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, what could be the keys to be an unhappy person?
An unhappy person.
Yes. Let's imagine that.
Okay,
you would
good.
like to build a
I
training.
actually did create a YouTube video called "The 10 Ways to Have a Miserable Life."
Yes. Let's talk about that.
I don't exactly remember all 10 of them, but it's the opposite of my happiness steps. It's my unhappiness steps. So it's surround yourself with horrible people who don't believe in you.
To look for horrible people.
Yeah. Look for everything that's wrong in your life.
Okay, focus on what's
on what's wrong. Blame everybody for your unhappiness and for everything that's going wrong.
Yeah, you're not responsible.
Blame everybody else for it. You know, eat all the wrong foods and take terrible care of your body.
Okay, it's important.
Yes, very important. Always hang on to your anger. Don't forgive anybody. Really make sure that everybody is you know, that you're not going to forgive them. Let's see, what are some other, I love this question. What a fun question to have. You know, the next time you make a mistake, just always keep reminding yourself about those mistakes. Keep criticizing yourself and beating yourself up, because of course that's the only way to grow. Yeah. And you know, no matter what happens, it's never good enough.
Yes.
So make sure you're you know, you can't be grateful for anything, because nothing is ever enough.
No, it's not enough.
Make sure that you base all of your happiness on whatever you accomplish, so that anything that you can't, you know, your only happiness can come from what you achieve or accomplish. And completely separate yourself from any feeling of oneness with life. You know, in fact, if possible, be as angry at life as you can be.
It's not enough.
No? More?
No.
It's not enough. There you go. You're mastering that. You're a master of how to make it, how to be unhappy. Very good.
I was trying to apply because I believe in taking action.
You've been taking action. Good. Now forget everything we've just said.
Yes.
Get amnesia. But that's a fun way of looking at it. And you can, honestly, you look out at the people that you know in life who are unhappy, and you can go, oh my God, of course they're doing that, and that. It's such a simple thing. Unhappy people live one way, happy people live another way. Which do you want to be?
Yes, we have to choose.
That's
now.
it. And we don't just choose to be happy, we choose to practice the habits that happy people have.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have two last questions. So, what could be your message for youth to be happy or believe in their dreams? What do you want to say directly to youth for that.
It is not an accident that you are alive. You have the ability to go for your dreams. Whatever it is that you want in your heart, it's not put there by accident. It's put there because it was meant for you to go for. The sooner you discover what those dreams are and you go after them, the happier you will be. Surround yourself with happy people. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who believe in your dreams. Believe in your own dreams and know that everything is possible. You are here to be a hero in your own life, to be a hero for yourself. And start now, because the sooner you start, the better off you'll be. And I wish you the most happy life possible. It's there for you.
Wow, I love your message.
Good. Yay.
I care a lot about helping youth to grow.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And my last question is for women. You are an inspiring woman, so
Thank you.
a lot of women struggle about how they can succeed in not becoming a man.
Right.
So
How to have success and still be a woman.
yes, yeah, perfectly.
Yeah. A dear friend of mine is a woman named Claire Zammit, and she's actually developed a program called Feminine Power.
Wow.
And what she's shown is that there is a certain power in a feminine way of doing things. And the feminine has very wonderful qualities that can really bring about great success. And we need to trust those. Things like our intuition, our creativity, our inner wisdom, our ability to collaborate, to be relational. All of these are very key for our success. And I really understand this quandary. You know, I've been in a man's business world for many years. I got an MBA from UCLA when I was in my early 20s. And it was a very, highly focused, a lot of the qualities of the masculine. And we all have the masculine and we all have the feminine.
Yes.
So what I've found is that it's really wonderful to be able to exercise those qualities of the masculine in business. Focus is a great thing, but I will tell you my greatest success has come from my intuition, from my ability to listen to my inner voice, from my ability to trust and to build relationships. There is no way on earth that my books would be New York Times bestsellers without the support of many of my colleagues in getting the word out there. So the qualities of the feminine are wonderful qualities that both men and women can employ in business and in getting ahead. And I think that it's really important for women that they honor those qualities of the feminine and really see how much they can serve their success.
Is it selfish to be and become happy?
Yeah, right. A lot of people ask me that question also. Is it selfish to want to be happy? What about the rest of the world? David, I think it is the least selfish thing that we can do, because when we're happy, we're raising our happiness set point, we're changing our energetic vibration, and it goes out into the world, and it changes the people around us, it changes our community, and ultimately it changes the world. And there's a beautiful Chinese proverb that sums this up. It's actually hanging right over there in my living room. It says, when there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. When there is harmony in the house, there will be order in the nation. And when there is order in the nation, there will be peace in this world. And my prayer and my wish for you, for me, for everyone listening, is that we all feel that light in our souls and that love in our hearts. And through that, we create peace here on this planet of ours.
I think you love this quote of Gandhi. Be the change you want to see.
Absolutely.
In the world.
Absolutely.
I love this sentence. It helps me a lot to do what I'm doing.
Beautiful. Well, you have such a fabulous energy, and I love what you're doing. I'm really honored to be part of it.
I love what you're doing too.
Thank you. It's a mutual love society going on here.
Love.
Good, good.